Hi everyone, it's Anya from Cooking with Plants and welcome to my kitchen. Today I want to show you how I like to cook my quinoa. So it doesn't taste bitter, it's nice and fluffy and it's full of added protein. So quinoa itself is loaded with protein, but I'm going to add extra things to this and make it super protein loaded. So it will keep you full, it will give you nutrition that your body needs, and it just tastes amazing and it's quick to make. That's the best thing. So first of all, I'm going to get some quinoa and rinse it off. So 1 cup of quinoa rinsed really well under some water. Just keep rinsing it until it runs clear, and that will actually take away the bitter flavour that can sometimes come through when you cook quinoa. And first up, I'm going to just get this pan onto some heat, onto a medium heat. And what you're going to need is either some water or some vegetable broth. So I like using vegetable broth because obviously it adds more of a umami and savoury flavour, gives more depth to the actual dish. If you don't have any vegetable broth on hand or vegetable stock cubes or powder and you just want something natural to use, then miso paste is amazing to mix with some water and you can use that instead. And what I'm actually using today is, if you have a look back at the popcorn recipe I did a while ago, I'll link to it below. In there I make a savoury mixture that I sprinkle over the popcorn, and I had some of that left over, so I left it in a container and I've just mixed it with some water, so it's almost like an instant bouillon type flavour, chicken stock type of flavour. And I'm just going to add this to the pan. This pan's quite warm. I'm going to add that in. And of course this broth has stuck to the bottom of this cup. I'll just get that out as well, because this is where the flavour's at. We want all of that in there. Okay, so that has almost heated instantly because the pan was so warm. So you can either cook this in a pan or a pot, it doesn't really matter, as long as you have 2 cups of liquid and 1 cup of quinoa. So double the liquid to the amount of dry quinoa that you use. And then I'm going to add that washed quinoa into here as well. And really the most important thing here is to make sure that all of that quinoa is under the liquid. So that's where a pan is almost a good thing to use instead of a pot, because it just spreads out nicely and you can control it a little bit more as well. Now, if you wanted to keep your quinoa plain, you could just cook it from here, simmer it for about 15 to 20 minutes until all of that liquid is absorbed, and then you can even turn the heat off and put a lid on there and just let it sit there in its own steam, and it'll be nice, light and fluffy. But I'm going to add a few extra things to this just because I like to turn this into a meal. It just makes it quick rather than mucking around cooking this, cooking something else. Sometimes I just want a 1-pan dish. So what I'm going to do is add some chickpeas. Again, these are full of protein and iron, so they're very good for us. Especially a lot of ladies lack iron or they don't absorb enough iron. So if you can incorporate chickpeas into your diet and quinoa, then that is absolutely amazing. And to help with iron absorption, if at the end of this you pour a little bit of lemon juice on here, that's going to help with the absorption of the iron as well. And lemon makes everything delicious. Unfortunately, I don't have any in the house. I need to go and do my shopping. Okay, so I'm just going to let that cook through for a little bit and simmer on that heat for about 15 minutes. Okay, so I'm at about the 10-minute mark and most of that liquid has already absorbed. So now I'm just going to turn this off and let it sit on the heat and put a lid over the top, and I'll just let that steam for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'll just let it sit here and then it'll make it nice and fluffy. So this has been sitting for about 5 or 10 minutes just while I was cleaning up the kitchen, and you can see now that you stir it through and it's just nice and light and fluffy. Oh, it smells so good. So at this point, or even while it's simmering, I add in a few other things as well, whatever I have on hand. So sometimes I might mix through some fresh baby spinach and maybe some chopped up cherry tomatoes. But today I'm just adding a few chopped up olives, and also I've got some sage. I love sage through this. It's just so delicious. But you can add anything you like. You might have some fresh chives or some coriander. You can make this any flavour you like. You could do a Mexican style quinoa. You could do Indian. You can do Italian, Middle Eastern. Put some chopped nuts in here and some cranberries. That would be delicious. But this is what I'm having today. And I'm going to have this for my lunch in a wrap with some avocado. Quick and easy and delicious. So I hope that you enjoy this method of making quinoa and adding in those flavors while you're cooking. So adding it into a broth or adding mix-ins as it's cooking, because it's a really, really easy and delicious way to make a quinoa meal. Happy cooking, happy plant-based cooking without oil. Come and join me over in my Facebook group. I'd love to see you there and see what you create with your quinoa. Come and let me know over in that group. I'll leave a link to that below, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Need to have a taste. Oh my gosh, those flavors are amazing. Give it a try.